for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 23 coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, AOEAH.com. Use code VENM at checkout for 3% off your order.
Yo, what's good guys, VENM Fire here, back in the video, and today we're going to be hopping into Dcroft's Gun U Trips offensive scheme. This was the most highly requested one by far. I got in the comments of the last video when I asked you guys, who do you want to see next? Yesterday was Henry's. If you have not seen that one, I urge you to check it out. It's a really good bunch scheme. And yeah, we're going to bring you Dcroft's offense that he used in the Madden 23 Ultimate Kickoff. Very good scheme, but it's a little bit simpler than you probably think. There's not exactly a whole lot of setups, not as much in the bunch at least, and overall he keeps things simple. It's a kind of a note you notice when you watch all these games and actually write down the setups. They don't probably mix it up as much as you see. There's not 40 setups that they're going to. They keep things simple, and again, there's like 15, 20 setups written here, probably closer to 15. Some of these they only ran once, so a lot of these are repeats. Some of them, they may only have ran once, but yeah, written version will be down below in the comment section, so you can like or open that, follow along. I know you guys appreciate those, so I always do those with these types of schemes. And yeah, we're going to be in the Las Vegas Raiders offensive playbook. Raiders playbook once again. Y off trips is also in Pats and some other ones. I think not Panthers, some other one like Dolphins. As far as abilities go, you're going to want one outside apprentice. We traded over Devontae Adams, so we have an outside apprentice right here. Other than that, just get like a good QB. Now, the audibles, I couldn't really ever tell. He didn't audible exactly a whole lot, so personally, I couldn't tell exactly what the audibles were. I'm just going to throw in these. I wrote down some of the stuff. I think tight end whip could be replaced with the run play, but the plays we're going to run are going to be these four, as well as corners and Y out, if I'm not mistaken. So about 6 plays. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. We're going to start out in tight end whip. And all these setups are going to be written based on Xbox. I know that some people dislike when that is the case. So they are going to be written in terms of Xbox. If you want to change that, you can just search and replace and then copy and paste some of this stuff. So it's a simple fix if you want to switch to PlayStation. And all of them are written based on if my U-trips were to this left-hand side. So that's how they're all written. The icons in U-trips are the same no matter if the play was flipped or not. So it's not that big of a concern, I think. But just to let you know, some of the motion stuff, I guess. So let's start out in tight end whip. Our first setup is going to be to fade B. Next thing we're going to go ahead and do is slant RB, check and release Y, and then we're actually just going to motion in Sutton and snap him. So in the written version, if you're looking at it, whenever I say motion snap in, that means you're going to run it like this, or you motion snap him and then run it like that. So there you see, I also traded over a good tight end because the Broncos don't have one, Darren Waller, just because you want a good tight end for the scheme. I'm going to say that you want a good tight end. So again, it's a lot of simple stuff. You give yourself really 2-3 reads, a couple of late checkdowns options. Then you have a deeper concept in Judy. So really you try to hit, Sutton, Waller quick if you can. Otherwise you go over the top to Judy. And then you have, just to clear out an Adams and your late read, which is going to be check and release. I should have subbed Javonte in, but we didn't. But yeah, you're going to motion snap him in. And you notice how this seems to open up a lot of space for Sutton. This is against a stock cover 2, so it is a stock Tampa 2, meaning there's a lot of yellow zones in that middle of the field. Even with that, we were able to complete it, show one more time. And again, we have a lot of setups, so we'll try and go through a little bit faster than yesterday. But yeah, you have Judy there in the middle of the field. Against Tampa 2, it's not really going to be a throwable pass. I might switch over to cover 3 at some point. But yeah, that's your first setup. Our next setup is going to be the exact same thing. You'll see this a lot, kind of the same setups, just one route different. So it's going to be the exact same play, but the only difference here is that we're going to go ahead and just leave Melvin Gordon on his little out route. So you're going to leave him on his out, snap the ball, and this is just going to give you like a little better option as a table route. More of a threat out of the backfield. The check and release is more good against pressure. So if he's sending pressure, that's where that pass is, or that route is a little bit better. If you know he's not sending any heat, then you might as well leave him on his little out route, and you see how he kind of doesn't really run it based on the play art. Interesting enough. A lot of times with that whip and slant combo, it's pretty clear who you're going to throw it to. Usually there's a clear person who's open. But yeah, this is a setup that you can also kind of quick snap because you don't exactly have too much to do. But again, there you have your slant, and boom, he's wide open. So let's hop into setup number 3 now out of this play. Setup number 3, what you're going to do is flat X. You're going to slant RB, block Y, and then you're just going to motion snap in this slant. So you're going to, again, move him like this, and this clears things up a bit. It creates a nice little concept, I think. You have 2 flats, and then you have a little underneath route with the slant, and then you have a deeper thing in that backside post coming over the top. So I am a fan of that setup. Again, block Y, flat X, you're motioning in Sutton. Then you have this backside post with Davante Adams that you can throw like right here, and it would be a catch. I would probably highball it, kind of the way that I'm doing it. So overall, that's a good pass I like to go to, or he liked to go to. I need to stop saying I because it's not my offense. But yeah, and I didn't, again, I'll reiterate that I did not buy an ebook for any of these. I just watched the game the same way that you can and just wrote down some of the setups. So it's not like I'm reading from an ebook. You can see the work I did. I wrote them down in the written version. So yeah, show it one more time here. And then again, you have your slant or your backside post really opening up. The zig against other coverage is going to be better, especially against man coverage. That zig is money. Well, let's hop into our last setup, which is going to be streak RB. And then what you're going to do is actually just motion over B. So you're going to leave everything else the same. You're going to motion over this other post route, and it turns into a corner route. This is good against man coverage as well. You kind of snap it here, so it turns into like a rub concept. This really opens up your boy Melvin Gordon. If you were motioning to the short side the way that we're doing now, probably your best bet would be to snap it as early as you can. But yeah, I like this setup a lot. Just mixing things up. I would snap it again, like try and go right about here. You see he's more of a decoy against cover 2 and cover 3 because he doesn't go deep enough. But what he does is he pulls up those zones. He pulls over those zones to the sideline, and that actually should open up Judy a little bit. We'll see if we can complete it to him. But yeah, just mixing it up. It's a pretty unique setup. This could also open up Darren Waller maybe. We'll see if that's the case. Yeah, it opens up Darren Waller like I predicted with that streak. So good zone beater to open up your boy Darren Waller. And overall, let's show it one more time just to see if we can get Judy here. Although Judy's tough just because against cover 2, the coverage that we're in. Yeah, you see the mid-read plays it. If it was cover 3, that would be open though, as you would expect. So let's hop into our next play, which is going to be the slot out. I like this play a lot against man coverage. I might actually switch to man coverage. Yeah, let's switch to man coverage for this because this is a heavy man beater. It's good against zone as well, but I want to go show this specifically against man coverage for a little. So we're going to go to a cover 0. And for this first setup, what you're going to do is go ahead and slant B. You're going to go ahead and flat X. You're going to put Y on an out route to the left, and then you're just going to motion over Davante Adams. So here is your setup. And again, this is intended to beat man coverage, so you motion over Adams. We're not going to have too much time to throw the ball, but you see how Waller kind of gets open. I should have ran regular man coverage instead of cover 0, but let's just show Waller's route real quick. I'm going to block with my running back. And this is just Waller's route against man coverage. We should have time. See how he's going to fry. Now, Waller is a really good tight end. That linebacker probably isn't the best, but that's why you have a really good tight end, and this is probably the best man beater. What abilities does he have? So he has short and elite, which I think helps him in this case. I'm not exactly sure, but it's, yeah, this is a really good setup, specifically against man coverage. A lot of these setups are intended to beat man coverage. And yeah, you have your slants. You have this little running back route that can get open. Melvin Gordon has god-awful route running, so he's not going to get an ounce of separation, but in most cases, you probably get a little bit of separation, as you would expect. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty good play. So I'm going to show it again with the running back block. You guys saw the running back route. And then we'll switch over to zone coverage kind of now that you know that all these routes beat it. Look at this route against man, though. Cortland Sutton, if he's not pressed, then he is going to absolutely put on a show on that out route. He's going to destroy, and that's something that you love to see. So, and then again, we know the backside slant will be man coverage. I'm going to switch over to zone coverage real quick. That was the first setup. We got 2 other setups out of the slot out play. So we'll go to it, and let's go to a cover 3 now, which I think I passed. Yeah, cover 3. So cover 3, it should open up Davante Adams on this backside post a little bit more, although we don't ever keep him on the backside post, so I'm not sure why I'm even bringing that up. But what you're going to do for this next setup is slant B, streak X. You're going to put Y on the out route to the left, and it's pretty much the exact same setup. The only difference is that you don't have the flat I like the setup a little bit better. And I think when he motions over the slant, he motions him over a little bit significantly far. Yeah route is going to be a lot more successful against zone if you have a good running back, but it should work against either if you have anyone better than Melvin Gordon in. I should have subbed Melvin Gordon out when I had the chance. But yeah, so same exact setup. All you're doing is streaking X. This could help with the seams though, honestly. You see how you can kind of fit him in. And then over the top, of course, you have Darren Waller. He's acting as your post route, and he actually doesn't run as deep as you think when you're facing zone. When you're facing man, you might be looking at it and be like, oh, he kind of runs pretty far. That's actually not really the case, because against zone, you notice he doesn't go too far down the field that you're unable to throw it. So XRD is kind of on a streak. He is fading to these sidelines, so we like it a little bit better. But you have this backside slant. When you motion it, you should have a window early to throw it. So that's going to be kind of your timing on the slant route. So let's hop into our next play, which is going to be corner B. So I mentioned that you want outside apprentice. This is where it's going to come into play. You'll see it a lot more out of plays, kind of specifically like curl flats that we show. But you're going to corner B, streak RB. You're going to drag X, block and release Y, and then what you're going to do is motion snap in. So it's again that wording where I said motion snap in. What that means is you can motion him in. If you want to spam X, you can only snap him in a certain window here. But yeah, this is a good setup. You need a little bit of time for it to develop, especially if he's on the wide side, because he does have to run pretty far from that inside to run his C route and actually complete it. So there's that for you. But overall, it should be a pretty successful route. And again, I like the drag combination in regards to the high-low. It creates a high-low between Darren Waller and Jerry Jeudy, as well as a high-low between Jeudy and Davante Adams late in the play. So if he's not sending a lot of people, I like this setup a lot, because you can kind of hit Davante Adams there. Davante is probably a little bit better on that route against cover 2, so I might switch over to cover 2 for that curl flats play. But yeah, we'll show it one more time here, see if we can complete it. And he uses those check and releases a lot. Those are some good options to use, but you can also hit Davante like here and complete that if you'd like, especially if you know you're not going to have any time. Take what's open. I would definitely not blame you for doing that. So that is going to do it for your slot out setup. I got to hop into another play, which is going to be Y out. So if you don't know what Y out is, it's the play on the left. You'll see the play art, but I'm kind of blocking it. I'm going to sub in Javonte Williams also, even though I guess they're the same overall. But let's go to cover 2, because I want to be in cover 2 for the next play. But what you're going to do for Y out is you're going to go ahead and put A on an out route. You're going to streak RB, check and release Y, and then what you're going to do is motion over Davante Adams. So you're going to motion over Davante Adams, and he's going to run a corner route here. This is a deeper corner route, so it should be a lot more successful against cover 2. And yeah, there you see the timing. You kind of have to throw it late, or you want to snap it a little bit earlier. But Dcroft uses a lot in his offense, and I'm sure if you saw that if you watched the game, is he used a lot of kind of rub route concepts. So with the rub routes, you want to kind of snap them to where they're running into each other. It's a good thing to use against a man against zone. It's probably not as useful, but yeah, you see there, he gets over the top really well against cover 2. Against cover 3, he's probably not as open, because you have the outside third that plays corner routes this year, so keep that in mind. But yeah, he looks really deep on the play art, which is why you can imagine he gets open even on the short side of the field. As far as your other routes, you have just A on a little quick out, and then you have Jerry Jeudy potentially getting open. I'm not sure if he gets open against this cover 2, but yeah, without the mid read, you could see how he would be open pretty obviously. So there's that for you. Let's hop to our next setup, which you're going to out RB now. You're going to go ahead and streak A. It's going to be the exact same play. You just switch up 2 routes, something that we already mentioned too. So something like this. Snap the ball, and now you have Cortland Sutton on that route. This might allow you to throw it to Waller in a perfect world. So maybe against cover 2, you're able to hit that. Against cover 3, it's probably, again, a little bit better. I should have ran cover 3 for this thing. But again, same thing with the little post corner out. It's a decent play. Again, it's better against certain coverages, probably better against man. But if you're able to hit him late, you see how Jeudy would come across the formation. If he's rushing 3, that would be a good concept to go to. Against the 4-man rush, not as much. So yeah, that's going to be it for Y out. Let's hop into our next play, curl flats. This is going to be the play with the most setups out of anything that we've ran so far. And curl flats is very good. What you're going to do for this first setup is drag X. You're going to check and release Y, and then you're going to put B on a corner route. You're going to once again motion in Davante Adams. Again, a lot of these are man-beating coverages, but they're good against zone as well. So there's, I might switch to man a little bit for one of the plays. But again, I like this setup a lot. Curl flats was always has always been my favorite play when I'm running U trips. I just run it a lot. It's a good quick snap play, and you can do a lot with it. So you have Davante Adams obviously on the sideline. He can kind of get open. You have to probably pass it a little bit better than what I did right there. So keep that in mind. But yeah, it's a good spacing concept as well. You have the drag, and you have the combination between the drag and the post. So you saw Davante. You have your drag, which we get shedded, but he was open. So you'll either have the drag or the post. Against cover 3, you would have the post. And let's actually switch to a cover 3 real quick. I actually want to show it against man coverage rather, because a lot of people do run man coverage, so we don't want to ignore that people are running man coverage. I guess we'll just try and run it against the cover 0, because otherwise you have like routes that just zones that kind of just play everything. So once again, you're checking and releasing Y, dragging the X, cornering B, and then you're motioning over to Davante Adams. It's a little bit better against pressed 2-man under. Since we're not pressed, it's not as good, but Davante Adams should get open on this. Obviously, a lot of times you can kind of highball it over the top or pass it up, and he's open. Again, better against press man-to-man. This setup's not as good against press man-to-man or against man-to-man in general, because the tight end's kind of useless on his flat. He doesn't really get any separation. But there you have Cortland Sutton. I'm not sure why my running back's not blocking. I think he's just going on his route when there is someone to block, so that's cool. I'm just going to block him. But there you see that first setup. Let's go into setup number 2. What you're going to do for this one is drag X. Basically the same thing. All you're going to do is drag A. So you're going to have 2 drags. You're still going to have your check and release with Y, which I might just block him against man coverage, because otherwise I don't think he blocks actually. Yeah, he's literally not blocking, so we're just going to have to block him. You can imagine him on the block and release. Clearly it's useless against a blitz, so I guess I don't recommend it against that. But this setup's pretty good against zone as well. Actually really good against zone, because you have all these routes that space the field effectively. So there you see your tight end. He's playing a way bigger role against man coverage by being on the drag. Against zone coverage, he didn't really, or against on the flat, he didn't really do much. So let's try and hit Sutton. Sutton routes should beat man coverage. It's, again, better against press man-to-man, but you see how he kind of gets open there. Again, because you like block your running back, then all of a sudden the free safety goes into like a random hook curl where he's just, of course, always defending the route you want to throw it to. But yeah, you saw a little bit of separation. Sutton's not exactly the best wide receiver speed-wise, and sometimes your C route gets bumped like that. You don't really want that to happen, so try and like snap it as soon as you possibly can, I guess. And again, yeah, press man-to-man is a little bit better, so there you see a better release. And you know, it depends. Sometimes the C route gets open against better against press man-to-man. I can't say that enough times, but yeah. So I'm going to switch over to zone coverage. We showed it a little bit against man, enough for you guys to, I guess, understand. So let's hop into curl flats, and what do we want? Let's go cover 3. So our next setup is going to be drag X, corner B. We're going to wheel Y, drag A, and then we're going to motion them in. So this is your setup. You drag both players, but the running back's on a wheel now. This is for like 3-man rushes, I guess, but this is a nice setup against cover 3. Specifically, the boy you're trying to throw is Javonte Williams, which I threw super late. You saw that he was open. If you were watching him, he was open for a while on that play, so I'll show that again. But this is a good setup to, if you're trying to like do this concept or you quick snap throw the wheel, there's probably not a better setup in the U trips to establish that than this one specifically. So again, wheel Y, drag X, drag A, and let's see if we can throw it to Sutton. We haven't really been able to hit him. You have the C route. It's probably not as good against cover 3, but here you see Sutton wide open, and that's the route that we're trying to throw. It's good against man, pressed, and it's going to be pretty successful against your cover 3s of the world, cover 2s without a mid-read of the world. So Davante Adams, again, you need a lot of time to throw his route, I'll be honest. So, and he doesn't even really get open against cover 3. He would have a window against cover 2, but I guess he's not the best against that coverage. So show one more time, then we'll hop into our next one. Snap the ball, and here you just have your drags that you can throw. So Judy, boom, he's open. Waller would be open later as well. So hopping into setup number 4, what you're going to do here is out A, you're going to slant B actually. So you're going to slant B. And then what you're going to do is streak X, check and release Y, and you're actually going to motion over Adams. This is a setup that's very good against man coverage. Should be good against zone as well. I like to wait a little bit for the motion slant, but yeah, it's just one of the most basic concepts, oldest, best concepts in Madden, and that's going to be the slant post. You combine it with a little clear out action to open up either your running back late or your backside post late. And then you have your slant. So you can actually snap this slant a little bit earlier, but the slant is going to be good to fit in there. I like the slant a little bit later just because you can throw that kind of concept a little bit later or a little bit earlier, and he would have more space rather. So, but overall, just a simple setup again. He has really good pocket, so that helps a lot of these concepts. I guess I definitely don't have as good a pocket as his, but you see a lot. He's able to, and you might have offensive line abilities. I'm not sure his exact abilities, but he has really good pocket, and you see the concepts that he runs. They definitely factor that into them because what he does a lot of the time is if he's facing a three-man rush, he is able to step up in the pocket really well and fit in a lot of these passes. You can throw that out quick as well, but yeah, he has really good pocket. So try and practice your pocket presence, I guess. Maybe grab a couple of O-line abilities, I would say. But hopping into our last setup for this play, you're going to streak B, slant X. And then what you're going to go ahead and do is just put A on a little out route, and you're going to motion over RB. So this is intended to kind of open up your corner route, I think. So you're going to try and open up side, and I'm not sure if Y was blocking. I might have messed up this setup a little bit, but RB kind of gets open on the corner there. I guess probably snap him a little bit later for this, and again, I might have messed up the setup. I don't really remember seeing anything like this, but the setup seems to look pretty good, so I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm not messing it up. But yeah, so slant X, A's on an out route instead of a flat, streak B, and then motion over. I guess I'm just going to trust myself, but yeah, you motion over RB, and here we're going to hit Javonte. He gets opened up. Try and snap Sutton, I guess, a little bit later so he gets open against cover 3, against cover 2. Snap him earlier. So just to counteract that. But yeah, let's hop into our next play, which is going to be scat. One setup for this. We have one setup for corners as well. With scat, what you're going to go ahead and do is, what are we going to do? We're going to smoke screen B. We're going to drag X, wheel Y, and put A on an in route, smart out A. So here's your setup. Not good against man per se, but it's good against zone. So immediately you can hit the boy Devontae Adams on that smoke screen. He should be open pretty easily, depending on the coverage. So again, all these depend on the coverage. But another thing you can do is go with the quick snap to the running back. So we already showed that. Throw it earlier than I did there. Another thing that you can go ahead and do is throw the in route late. You have your in route and what's it called? Your in route and drag high-low concept, so it really opens up the drag. I'm gonna see if I can fit in the corner out. I'm not sure if it's open or not. We'll try it though. This one is a lot of adjustments, but let's see. So Sutton, he's kind of open over there. The outside third plays it. So honestly, if it were me, the setup that I would run for this play is I would go with something like this. If it were me personally, now this isn't the setup. If it's on the ebook, I would just streak B. Especially if it's cover 3. If it's cover 2, maybe the smoke screen's better. It depends on the coverage. I think he ran against man coverage. Maybe that's better. But if it were me, that's what I would do. It's my 2 cents, but the setup still does work, I guess, either way. And again, it depends on the coverage. Certain routes like Waller, probably a little bit more open. You can fit him in there on a high ball or a bullet pass, so there's that. Let's hop into our last play, which is going to be corners, though. Now, with corners, this play is a little bit, I don't like this play as much, and I'll explain why. So with corners, you notice that it's a little bit different spacing. Judy is in a lot more compacted. If we audible the curl flats, he moves over. A really good player will be able to notice this, but Dcroft was able to run it, so I guess I can't say, don't run it. But all he did with the setup is put Y on an out route like this, I believe. So you have kind of crossing routes between Adams and Williams. You have some deep corner routes. This is more of a man coverage beater. In my estimation, but it could work against zone. I'll show it against man after this couple plays. But again, all you're doing, this is a good quick snap play as well. So yeah, overall it doesn't really, not too much open against zone. So we'll switch over. Maybe cover 2 would be a little bit better again for those corner routes. So my boy Trey Lance is struggling right now. in fantasy football. That's why I was just checking my phone. But back to the video, we're going to go corners. Let's just go cover one because it's corner out based. So snap the ball. Let's try and hit Judy over there. He's going to fry. This is the route that he mainly threw when he ran corners actually in the game. And the game I watched was the So Not Gucci game. I didn't watch any other games, just to let you guys know, because EA didn't even have them available, so I had to watch them from someone else. But there's one, there's two, Sutton over there. They both should get open. So there's your 2 cents. Next read is going to be your tight end if you're able to fit him in. Again, short and elite helps a lot on those routes, so that could be an ability that's useful for sure. And then your last thing is going to be either Javonte or Devontae. Devontae Adams literally just does nothing on that route for me. If a 99 overall receiver is not getting open on that, what you want to do is put him on something else. I don't know, a drag, slant, literally anything else would be better. I guess maybe a regular in route would be better. So I might even just do this. Stock in route, he should get a little bit more separation, although he's kind of getting bagged either way. Who would have thought backed off man to coverage would just be so good against this? Try a traditional drag. That gets a little bit more separation, but I mean, not too good right there. But that's going to do the video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.